Selling puts versus buying puts. Selling puts versus buying puts. Which one should you go with? Let's find out. Selling puts versus buying puts really boils down to rights versus obligations. Cash flowing out versus cash flowing in. The main difference between buying and selling a put option is the right or obligation that you incur and which way the cash flows during the transaction. When you buy a put option, you have bought a right or a choice. When you buy puts, you have the right or choice to exercise the contract. Because you are buying a right or a choice, money is going to flow out of your account and it's going to flow into the person who's selling the put option or selling the right to you. They're selling you a right. In order for you to sit there and be able to ponder if you want to exercise, they're obligated to be there in case you want to. So money flows into their account, and because money is flowing into their account, they have accepted an obligation to fulfill the contract if called upon. So buying a put, money flows out of your account, and now you have a right or a choice to exercise the contract if you so choose or if certain conditions happen. Selling the put, money flows into your account, and now you have the obligation to fulfill the contract terms to the person that you have sold it to if certain things happen or if they want. How do you make money with puts? Whether you're selling or whether you're buying, how do you make money? The very basic way, even though this isn't necessarily what puts were originally intended to make money this way. This is normally what people do, the two real basic ways. So one real basic way is selling put options. This brings money into your account called a premium. This has a limited upside and it's easier to predict. Now, what do I mean by a limited upside? So if you sell a put option and let's say you receive $10 of premium, no matter what happens to the stock, you are not going to get any more money. Your upside potential is capped at $10. Now there's still some downside risk, but definitely your upside potential is capped. Easier to predict. Why is that? Because when you sell an option, you don't need the option to move in a super specific direction to make money. When you sell an option, you can even be wrong. It just depends how wrong you are, right? It gives you a little more flexibility. And in exchange for this flexibility and in exchange for this more forgivingness of a strategy, you limit your upside. In exchange for an easier to predict the outcome, you limit your upside. Money flows in, you have a limited upside, it's easier to predict. Buying put options. Buying a put option, you're going to expect to sell this put option at a higher price than you bought it for later in the future. It has unlimited upside, and it is much harder to predict. So unlimited upside. Now let's say right now you see it's May 24th, 2022. For the last X amount of time, the stock market has been tanking. If you would have noticed that in the beginning and bought put options, the value of your put options would have increased, and thus you would be able to sell them at a higher amount. So the upside is unlimited. You can quadruple, you could whatever 1,000 times your money is, you could 10x it, 500x it. It's unlimited. You could 1x it. Anything from 1 to infinity. But it's harder to predict. Now, why is it harder to predict? Well, one reason is you have to be accurate in the direction. Not only do you have to be accurate in the direction, you have to be accurate in the direction in the right time frame. The whole time when you buy a put option, time is working against you, because remember, these are contracts that have expiration dates. On this side, time works with you. Every day that goes by and you don't have to fulfill your obligation, you're one day closer to not needing to fulfill that obligation. On this side, every day that goes by and the stock doesn't move as far in the right direction that you needed to, in this case down, then you are one day closer to having not made much money or potentially losing your money. There's other things. There's these things called the option Greeks. And you could buy a put option. You could be actually right in the direction and pretty right in the time frame, but there might be other factors of these different option Greeks that might be a variable in there, and you don't really end up making a lot of money from it. So which one is better? You know, this one has limited upside, this one has unlimited upside. So a lot of people tend to gravitate over here. People like me who like playing more like a casino, we tend to gravitate over here. So which one is better? What if I were to tell you that neither is better? What if I were to tell you that the right strategy for the right person in the right time of their life is the best? Let's consider that. Let's consider that. So what time of life are you in? Are you just beginning? You know, I would imagine if you are watching this, you are basically a beginner. So if you're basically a beginner, as a beginner, stick with the easier to determine strategy of selling cash secured put options. Not naked options, not naked put options, not margined put options, cash secured put options. If you're just beginning, give yourself the greatest chances of success. This might seem like an easy game to play. If it was, everyone would be retired. There'd be way more people retired. There'd be way more people that have all the material things that they want in life. If it was easy, people can get lucky for a while, but over a 10, 20, 30-year time span, it's not as easy as it might be in the first 6, 7, 8, 9 months. So stick with a strategy that's easier to determine. This is going to allow you to learn while you're growing your account, preparing you for the more difficult strategies. Right? Different time in life. After, let's say, 6 months of selling cash secured put options, how much more are you going to know? After that, you might realize that it's time for you to step it up to another type of strategy. Maybe you get good at reading direction and you good at the option Greeks, and you decide to start buying put options. I'm going to have, at the end of this video, I'm going to link to another video that explains how to sell cash secured put options in case you want to get started with that. Now, the whole time that you are doing this, when you're navigating the stock market, there are two emotions that are really you're gonna be hit with, probably when you're not expecting it. Fear and greed. Fear and greed are the primary emotions that are going to be causing you to do things that maybe you shouldn't do under certain conditions. We're gonna focus on the fear. We're going to focus on the greed. And we're going to focus on the greed because a lot of people will either skip selling cash secured put options or transition into new strategies faster to go for higher ROI, higher return on investment, instead of sticking through and really mastering or getting close to mastering, getting highly proficient with selling cash secured put options and really getting a solid foundation in the stock market. But the greed of making more money can get them. So let's talk about greed a little bit. Rumi says, greed makes man blind and foolish and makes him an easy prey for death. If for some reason you don't like the way that Rumi worded that, let me rephrase this. Greed makes human beings blind and foolish and makes them an easy prey for death. So think about that for a second. Greed blinds you. It makes you foolish. It makes you do things that in the stock market, what's the equivalent of death? The equivalent of death in the stock market is blowing up your account, losing all your money, having zero, going from whatever you have down to zero. Is it possible? It's absolutely possible. Have I done it myself? I haven't done it. I've gotten close though. And it was because of this. It was because of greed. Now, if greed can make people easy prey for death, it's interesting that in this quote, Rusty Eric says, as long as greed is stronger than compassion, there will always be suffering. As long as greed is strong within you, you will always be suffering. Now, it might not be a continual, but through the course of your life, you will continue to experience suffering when greed is strong within you, because it makes you blind and foolish, and it makes you an easy prey for death or discomfort, suffering. I think you got the point. We're going to end it with this. Greed, ladies and gentlemen, is not a financial issue. It's an issue of the heart, per Andy Stanley. So if greed is not a financial issue, if it's an issue of the heart, you need to work on your emotions. Work on your emotions. You can learn all the fancy terms and all the strategies and things like this, but unless you get your emotions under control, sooner or later you will find yourself falling victim to some emotions that are not good for you. Thanks for watching this video. Get yourself a free copy of some tactics YouTube is not talking about. 3 underused tactics to transform your financial results. You want to transform your financial results in the stock market? These 3 tactics are going to help you. You want to transform your financial results somewhere else in life? These 3 tactics are going to help you. They will indirectly or directly, depending on what it is, help you in every single area of your life. I absolutely guarantee it if you implement them. If you just read it, they won't change anything. There'll just be some more stuff up here that you can go to a cocktail party and say, yeah, you know. And you have to be careful because you might be saying, yeah, you know, to a person like me. Implements and reaps the rewards. So go get them, implement, watch that other video, and you guys have a fantastic day. Aloha.